Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network for game number 2 of NAC softball between the visiting Raiders of the Milwaukee School of Engineering and the home Concordia University Chicago Cougars. Let's briefly run through these starting lineups, similar but not identical to game 1. Leading off for the Raiders is number 8, Faith Mata, hitting second. Number 1, Jenna O'Donnell, hitting third. 11, Jenna Traywin. 4th, Jocelyn Claudy. Hitting 5th, Carly Emery. Hitting 6th will be Sadie Gavrell. Hitting 7th, Celine Pacheco. 8th, number 4, Carly Witterine. And number 9 is Caroline Forrest. The flex for the Raiders will be number 18, Finley Olson. And there is pitch number 1 from the Cougars starting pitcher this afternoon in game 2. It's number 26, Ashley Schroll. And leading off for the Raiders is Faith Mata. Faith had 4 hits in game number 1. And there's back up the middle. It'll be stopped by Santos, but cannot hold on to it. And we will wait for the ruling on hit or error, but regardless, Mata will board first to start this afternoon's contest. Game 1 saw a 19-4 Raiders victory. A game in which the Raiders came out and scored 4 out of the first 5 innings. The 5th inning, they plated 10 runs. Cougars plated 4 in the 5th inning, but not enough to stop the run rule. Here's Jenna O'Donnell, the Raiders' 2-hitter. She had a pair of hits herself in that first game. Mata will be credited for a hit. And we're going to... Santos appears to be bleeding from the shin after her sliding attempt to keep that ball in the infield. So she's going to get that shin wrap. But let's go through the lineup for the Cougars. Leading off, playing second base, the freshman number 22, Emily Garcia. The catcher will be batting second. That's Jessica Gang. Arissa Santos, the shortstop, will be batting third. Bella Archuleta in the 4-hole. It'll be Caitlin Smith, the DP, batting 5th. We did not see her in the first game. Batting 6th, Megan Buska. Batting 7th will be Olivia Stroker, a new face to the lineup as well. And so is Julia Pataluna, who will be batting 8th. Haley Goldsby will be rounding out the lineup, and she'll be playing center field. And the flex player, the pitcher, number 26, Ashley Schroll for the Cougars. And Schroll is in the circle right now with the rest of her infield as they await Arissa Santos to re-enter the field of play. Schroll comes into this contest 10th in the NAC in ERA, sitting at .210. She has a win and a pair of losses to her credit so far. She's pitched 20 total innings, given up 17 hits and 11 runs. So for the Cougars in the outfield, it goes Stroker, Goldsby, Pataluna. Left to right in the infield, Archuleta, Santos, Garcia, Buska. Jessica Gang behind the plate, and Ashley Schroll in the circle. So here we go. We are ready to resume the first inning. So Mata stands at first base with nobody out, and Jenna O'Donnell to bat here for the Raiders. The pitch from Schroll. O'Donnell will show bunt. Gang will fire down to second, and Mata will steal second with ease. Looked like Gang had a little trouble getting that ball out of her glove on the transition. So now there is a runner in scoring position for Jenna O'Donnell. The count is 1-1. The wind's still blowing pretty heavy here left to right. That did play a factor a few times in the first game. We saw a couple misplayed balls and an error on pop flies in that first game. That ball is fired in for a ball. The count is 2-1. Schroll's pitch will be inside And that'll work it to a 3-1 count now. And the other Jenna in the lineup, Jenna Traywin, stands on deck as O'Donnell will waft that one over foul first base over Buska's head. So we will have our first full count of the second game. Scholl will look to the wristband. And here's the full count pitch. It's going to be popped up. Garcia's going to call for it, and she will secure it. And that is out number one. A big out there, leaving Faith Mata at second base, at least for the time being. But that'll bring up Jenna Traywin. Also had a pair of hits in that first game. Put one off the wall in left center field. Left fielder Olivia Stroker is not too far from the warning track. Astral's first pitch will be low. Ball one. Concordia baseball is just over that fence there, playing St. Norbert. The Green Knights traveled down from Wisconsin. It was the Cougars who took game one 6-1, and they've just started up game two here not too long before us. The count is 2-0. That is ball three, so 3 straight balls here from Ashley Schroll. Being awfully careful with Jenna Traywin with a runner in scoring position. First base is open. That'll be fired in there for a strike to bring it to 3-1. And Traywin, a senior from Oak Creek, Wisconsin. Fouled off of her foot in the box, and she's going to limp it, walk it off here. You could kind of hear it go 1-2 off the bat, off the foot, and rolled awkwardly towards third base. So she'll take a quick break here, but presumably will re-enter the batter's box. Says it's the center of her left foot, we can hear. Coach says shake it off, and we'll have full count here for the second consecutive batter. Schroll versus Traywin here, full count, 1 out, runner on second base in the top half of the first inning. That'll be lined over Buska's head, and that'll be a RBI single for Jenna Traywin, and once again the Raiders strike first in the top half of the first inning. So with Traywin at first base, it'll bring up the Raiders' first baseman. This is Jocelyn Clotty. And that'll be a base hit up the middle. So 3 singles here in the top half of the first inning for the Raiders. Leaves them with 1 run on the board and runners on first and second with only 1 out. So 3 base hits in the first 4 at-bats for the Raiders, picking up right where they left off on top of the Cougars pitching staff. So here's Carly Emery. Emery, the freshman from Mankato, Minnesota, made some spectacular plays in right field in game 1 as she lines that to Archuleta at first, and she'll fire it over to Buska, who's able to keep it in front of her off the 1-hopper, but a good snag by Archuleta is true for out number 2. So that'll keep the runners at first and second with 2 outs. Here's Sadie Gabrielle. And Gabrielle is a senior from Oregon, not the state, but the city of Wisconsin. So she will bat in a 1-1 count with 2 runners on as that pitch stays outside. So that'll work to a 2-1 count for Gabrielle. And that'll be ripped foul just a few feet from the third base bag. Stroker will send that one back into Santos. Buska delivers it back to Schroll. So a 2-2 count here. Even up with 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 on. That's going to be grounded to Santos, who fires to Buska, and that'll be a 6-3 put out to end inning number 1. It's 3 hits for the Raiders. They plate 1 and leave 2 stranded. The Cougars will have Garcia, Gang, and Santos when we return for the bottom half of the first inning on the Cougar Sports Network. Welcome back. We got the bottom half of the first inning here, and it'll be the freshman Finley Olson getting the ball in the circle here for the Raiders. So this first at bat will be freshman on freshman, and Olson from Libertyville High School in Illinois, and she will face off the Cougars second baseman Emily Garcia. The first pitch will be a ball high from Olson. Olson comes into this game with a 4.32 ERA. Good for top 25 in the NAC. She's pitched just over 11 innings so far this season in her freshman campaign. As the count is 2-0 on Garcia now, and that'll be true for a strike, 2-1. So the Cougars struggled to get on top of Katie Pollock in game 1. They took until the 9th at bat before they got a hit and didn't play runs until the 5th inning when it was far too late. We'll see if the tide can turn for the Cougars and they can get a few hits and some runs on the board early. It's a 3-1 count. Garcia will take ball 4 in the dirt. And that is something we just didn't see a ton of in game number 1 from the Cougars. So Olson will walk Garcia to start this one. Here is Jessica Gang, the junior catcher for the Cougars, now with Garcia on first. for the Raiders in the outfield, left to right. It's Witteveen Mata Emery as Gang squares to bunt there to move Garcia to scoring position. So she will be credited with the sacrifice bunt there as Olsen fields and fires that one to first base. So that'll bring up Arissa Santos, the Cougar shortstop, who got her shin wrapped in the top half of the first inning. She put one off the top of the wall over by the scoreboard in the first contest. She'll take ball number 1 high. The infield for the Raiders is the same as game 1. It's Forrest, O'Donnell, Pacheco, and Claudia left to right. As Santos takes strike 1, the count's 1-1. And Traywin behind the plate again for the Raiders as well. So the changeup will just bounce in there low. That'll push the count to 2-1 now. This Cougars dugout has come to life here early in game 2. As pitch number 3 is high, so for as many times and as many batters, we have a 3-ball count. And there's ball 4, low and inside once again. So that'll put Santos at first with Garcia at second. So 2 walks in the first 3 batters. The sacrifice bunt in between them kind of negates the idea of the sacrifice bunt, walking Santos. But here's Bella Archuleta, third baseman for Concordia, with 2 on and 1 out here in the bottom half of the first inning. Olsen struggling to find the zone so far early in this one. As she does there, it's 1-1. That's a ground ball to Forrest. She touches third, fires to first, and it's picked. And that's a double play from Forrest to Claudia, and the Cougars go down in the bottom half of the first inning. They have 2 on base via the base on ball, but cannot get anybody across the plate thanks to a nice play by Caroline Forrest. So after 1, it's the Raiders 1 and the Cougars 0. We'll be back for inning number 2 in just a few moments. Welcome back for inning number 2. It's MSOE up 1-0 after the first inning. So here is number 5, Celine Pacheco, as the second baseman for the Raiders. She'll take that first pitch and she'll swing on it. It's going to be lined out to Goldsby, who reaches up last minute and brings that one in for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out, but a nice swing there from Pacheco. Here is Carly Witteveen. She will take ball 1 inside. Count from Schroll, and that's a shot out to right field. It'll be right at the warning track and off the glove of right fielder. So Witterveen will reach on error. It'll be a 2-bag error. Unfortunate mistake there in right field by Pataluna. So a runner in scoring position now with only 1 out. It'll be Caroline Forrest, the 9-hitter, who's had a really fine day at third base. A couple nice plays in the first game, and that double play just a few minutes ago. She'll see if she can pick up an RBI here with their runner on second. As ground ball right past Archuleta, but it'll be foul. So it'll be a 1-1 count. So Witterveen stands on second. Here's Forrest. That'll be a ball, so 2-1 now. Got a good fan attendance. Here is Witterveen takes off for third, and the ball in the dirt. So Forrest will take strike 2 swinging, but Witterveen will move from second to third, so now the approach will change to simply put the ball on the ground and score Witterveen. But as I was saying, a pretty nice crowd here in River Forest on this chilly afternoon. Got a 2-2 count here. Witterveen at third. Forrest will foul it off right towards Mata there on deck. Third base coach can't field it, so Archuleta will go over there to grab it and send it back to Schroll. So Forrest still fighting in the 2-2 count. This is a big out for the Cougars with, that's a shot. That's going to be way foul towards the playground. In the playground. So we've hit as many playgrounds as we have cars this afternoon. 1 apiece. We'll see who wins that battle by the end of the afternoon. And here's one headed towards a car now. Oh, and it misses it by just a few feet. In between a teal car and a white car up over there. Those are lucky, lucky fans. The count remains at 2-2. It's been a really great at-bat here by Forrest. A lot of pitches seen as she fouls off another. And that's either 4 or 5 straight foul balls. 5 straight I'm seeing from my statistician to the left, and that's why they pay her the big bucks. I never was good at mathematics, but Forrest here is going to send that one out to center field, and that'll be good for a sac fly. So Forrest does her job, and the Raiders take a 2-0 lead. And that was just a fine job by Caroline Forrest there. She saw a lot of pitches, moved the runner from second to third on the wild pitch, and got the RBI. So unconventional, but effective. So that'll roll it over. It'll clear the bases. Fortunately for the Cougars, for Faith Mata with 2 outs. So we'll see the Raider leadoff hitter who has 5 hits already this afternoon in 7 at-bats. She'll take strike 1. As that'll be chopped right over towards Garcia. Garcia will turn and fire to Buska, and that's a nice play by the freshman to grab the speedy Mata. But the Raiders will add another in the top half of the second inning. Raiders now lead 2-0. We'll be back on the Cougar Sports Network. Now to bat for the Cougars is the DP, Caitlin Smith, her first at-bat of the day. And she will step in to face Olsen from the right-handed batter's box. And that's off the handle and fielded cleanly by Pacheco, the soft liner. So Smith will be one pitch and out. So that'll bring up the left-handed hitter, the first baseman who pitched in the first game. This is Megan Buska. And that pitch from Olsen will head low and out. That last pitch to Smith, I think the first time Olsen delivered a strike on pitch number one, as Buska will hit a soft ground ball that took a weird bounce off the dirt there. But Pacheco able to stay in front of it, as that's 3 pitches and 2 putouts for the second baseman, Celine Pacheco. So here's another freshman, this Olivia Stroker, playing left field in the second game this afternoon. And Stroker hitting 176 so far this year in her freshman campaign. She's just under that one. Sends it up towards the net. So that'll bring us to 1-1. And in that first inning, 9 of Olsen's 14 pitches were balls, but a much more effective inning so far here. She's been much more accurate and around the plate here. A 2-1 count to Olivia Stroker. She's got 17 at-bats so far this year. As that's going to be lifted out to left field and over the left fielder's head. So Olivia Stroker will have an extra base hit here in the second inning for the Cougars. It looked like that one kind of off the end of the bat of Stroker and just tailed over the left fielder's head out there, Witteveen. So Stroker will glide into second base with a stand-up double. We will now see the Cougars 8-hitter. It's Julia Pataluna who fires that one, a line drive right back up the middle. And it'll be Stroker around to score for the Cougars, and a RBI base hit for Julia Pataluna. And the Cougars are on the board here in the bottom half of the second inning. That'll bring the Cougars center fielder to the plate, number 4, Haley Goldsby. She had herself a 2-for-2 game one. The only Cougar to record 2 hits in that first game, as that pitch is high and inside. So the Cougars cut the lead in half here in the bottom half of the second inning. Pataluna still at first base. That's going to be a ground ball. Foul. Pass force out to left field. So with 2 outs here in the second inning, Cougars at their 9 spot looking to roll over the top of the order. Goldsby will square to bunt. Olsen come to field to throw, and she'll be safe at first base. So a 2-out bunt. Kind of a surprise, but effective. Caught the Raiders off guard there. And Olsen unable to fire it to Claudia for an out. So the Cougars here with 2 on, 2 out in the second. And that'll roll it over to the top of the order. It's number 22, the second baseman, Emily Garcia. The first pitch from Olsen in the at-bat. That'll be taken for a strike by Garcia. Cougars already with 3 hits here in the first 2 innings. They only tallied 2 hits through the first 4 in the first game, and Garcia will lift that one out to center field, where Mata will take it for out number 3. The Cougars get 1 back on a pair of hits. Score 2-1 after the first 2 innings here on the campus of Concordia University, Chicago in River Forest, Illinois. We will be right back for inning number 3 on the Cougar Sports Network. Well, the top half of the third inning will bring number 1, Jenna O'Donnell, to the plate. 0 for 1 so far here today. She popped up to second base earlier, and that'll be a second error from the right fielder. So O'Donnell will reach base here after the pop fly mistake in right field there. So the leadoff batter aboard for Jenna Traywin. 1 for 1 so far. She had an RBI single to right field in her first at-bat, scored Mata. So O'Donnell will get the signal from the third base coach, conference with the first base coach, and nothing will happen. That'll be at ball number 2. Schroll will deliver a 2-0 count. It's 3-0 now. And the 3-0 pitch is going to be outside for ball 4, so that'll put runners on first and second after a 4-pitch walk for Jenna Traywin. She's got a pair of walks so far this afternoon as well. So that'll bring up number 13, Jocelyn Claudy. 1 for 1. She had a single as well in that first inning, as that's a line shot out. Foul stayed in thanks to the netting. So nobody out, runners on first and second. The Cougars will have a force out at first, second, or third. Now is Claudy ready to deliver the 0-1 from Schroll, and that's strike 2. And it was high in the zone, but a strike nonetheless. So an 0-2 count here on Claudy. And that pitch is going to be outside for ball number 1. And that's going to be softly lined to Santos, who fires it to Garcia to get the double play. That's the second double play we've seen this afternoon, one by each team in game 2. So just like that, from 2 on and nobody out to 2 outs and 1 on. Just Traywin standing at first base as they get O'Donnell too far off the bag there. Good play by the sophomore freshman combo in the middle infield. So that'll bring up Carly Emery, the right fielder, and she will take that one right over third base. Stroke her down to a knee to keep that one in front of her, and Emery will get her fruit snacks at first base. So one batter later, the Raiders will be at first and second once again, this time with 2 outs. for Sadie Gabriel. She lined out to Archuleta in her first at-bat. That's a shot right back up the middle, and Goldsby's going to come to fire home. Traywin will be held at third base, and probably a good choice, a good throw there by Goldsby. Nice sense of urgency to get that ball back in the infield, and a very nice hard hit ball by Gabrielle right back up the middle. So Coach Sarah O'Malley Fisher will get the infield together. The base runners will head over towards their dugout. The Raiders are threatening here with the bases loaded, 2 outs in the top half of the third inning. They've plated a run in each of the first 2 innings, looking to do so again. The Cougars looking to settle down a little bit. Raiders have 5 hits this afternoon. They're 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position like they have now. The Raiders are without an extra base hit so far. They had plenty of those in that first game. Look at a little bit of a team comparison here. Concordia's thrown 49 total pitches to MSOE's 27. 31 of 49 are strikes for CUC. 14 of 27 strikes for MSOE's Olsen. A much better second inning for Olsen than the first, even though she gave up a run in that second inning. It's much more effective and strong second inning. As the first pitch back from the timeout, Schroll will hit the batter, and Traywin will be around to score. So not what the Cougars needed out of the brief timeout, but Pacheco will reach first base, and she appears to be okay. So the bases will remain loaded with 2 outs. That run comes across, so 3-1 now for the Raiders. And this is Witteveen. So this Raider team has a pair of Jennas and a pair of Carleys, all 4 in the starting lineup. As there's strike number 2, so an 0-2 count now with the bases loaded and 2 outs, up by 2. And here's Schroll to deliver the 0-2 pitch. And that's strike 3 on the outside part of the plate, but it'll catch Witteveen looking, so the strikeout will leave the bases loaded. The Raiders are able to sneak one across on the hit by pitch. So it is now 3-1. The Cougars will get their shot at their half of the third inning when we return in just a bit. The Cougars will lead off the bottom half of the third inning. It'll be Jessica Gang. It's bat. She is 0 for 0. She had that sacrifice bunt in the first inning to move Garcia to second after Garcia's walk, and she'll take ball 1 up high to start this at-bat. And here's Olsen. Strike 1 there, so 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch from Olsen is going to be high and outside, so the Gang now takes control 2-1. fairly quiet second game. The first game saw a lot of action early on in the first few innings, but only 4 runs here through the first 15 outs. As Gang will watch ball 4 low. So another inning, the Cougars get the leadoff batter aboard. This will be Arissa Santos now, who also walked in her first at-bat, first plate appearance, excuse me. It's yet to have a actual at-bat. As that'll be take out to right field, so a base hit on the first pitch from Santos. She finds the hole out there in shallow right center field. So this will be Bella Archuleta here, 0 for 1 in this second game. With runners on first and second, nobody out, she may elect to bunt and move the runners, and she will, as that ball will be bunted and look to third, then fired to first. But Archuleta is out there by maybe a quarter of a step. Looked to be a good call there from the umpire, but a successful sacrifice bunt from Bella Archuleta, not someone who typically is tasked with that, but she did her job there. So here's Caitlin Smith with 1 out and runners on second and third. And Smith had a soft liner to second base in her first at-bat, but she'll watch ball 1 inside there. So it's Gang at third base and Santos at second base. Santos capable of scoring on a base hit from Smith, as that one is right back towards us here in the booth again. But the net keeps us safe. It did pass inspection this year, which is very good to know. This Gang's going to tie her right shoe. Left shoe appears to still be tied. Here's Olsen to Smith. Smith takes that one out to left field, and it's going to stay foul. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Coach O'Malley Fisher says, hey, hit it that way. Points to the field. And really, any ball in the outfield at this point is likely going to score a run. A ground ball on the right side of the infield may score a run as well, as there Smith will stay alive fouling that one back. And a 1-2 count here, Olsen to Smith, and that's on the outside. So a 2-2 count now. Raiders fans wanted it. The umpire won't ring up Smith. So it's 2-2. The off speed is going to stay high. Does not fall into the zone. So we've got a full count here with 1 out. 2 runners in scoring position now. Cougars are 1 for 3 so far in the second game with runners in scoring position, as Smith will just dribble that to first base, but it'll be an RBI ground out. She chased that one on the outside, but got the run in. So it'll be Megan Buska now still with a runner on third base. The Cougars plate 1 run to cut the deficit in half once again. So 3-2 now in favor of MSOE. Santos at third base with Buska here at the plate. Buska's 0 for 1 so far the second game, as that pitch is inside and low, a 2-0 count. Buska grounded out to second base, her first at bat. That's a a 4-pitch walk there for Buska. So with runners on the corners now and 2 outs, that'll bring up the left fielder Olivia Stroker, who doubled in her first at-bat, to left field. She'll be looking to do more of the same. And the lefty for the Cougars. She'll watch that one low, and she'll go ahead 2-0. It'll be a brief timeout here after the 6th straight ball. Traywin will head out to talk to her pitcher, the freshman Finley Olson. So Stroker will head over and chat, share a laugh with Coach Sarah O'Malley-Fisher. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. It's 3-2 in the 3rd inning. And number 11, Olivia Stroker's at the plate for the Cougars. Freshman versus freshman matchup here as Stroker will take a hearty cut at that one. And it's 2-1 now. That pitch will be just off the plate, so a 3-1 count now. Stroker will have a small zone here, a pitch she likes to drive. If not, it'll be ball 4. And she'll take a swing at it. It'll be softly lifted over towards the shortstop. And Jenna O'Donnell will grab out number 3. The Cougars plate 1, so it's been 5 total runs, each scored individually. So we will have the top of the 4th inning in just a few minutes on the Cougar Sports Network. All right, welcome back to the campus of CUC in River Forest, Illinois. We've got the top half of the 4th inning here and some NAC softball action. It's Caroline Forrest, the 9-hitter, who had a sacrifice fly in her first at-bat. She'll take a swing at pitch number 1 from Ashley Schroll. It'll be fouled. Schroll ahead in the count early. As that's taken out to shallow right center field, and it'll find a spot on the ground. It'll fall in between a diving Goldsby and a reaching Garcia. It snuck past Pataluna, and the base hit will be, well, we'll see how they score that, a double or an error in the outfield. So while we wait on that ruling, it's Faith Mata, the top of the order for the Raiders, with Forrest on second now with nobody out. We'll see if we see a bunt here from Mata or a slap. And she attempted early in that first game, but ended up with 4 hits as she shows bunt there, as they'll be forced to go to 1. The ruler's safe. It was a bang-bang play there. So the hesitation of going to 3rd or going to 1st resulted in Mata being safe at first. So here's Jenna O'Donnell with runners at the corners and nobody out. The Raiders threatening once again here in the 4th inning. They've plated runs in all 3 innings so far here in the 2nd game. played 8 complete innings today, and 7 of them the Raiders have scored, as Mata will take second. So now runners at second and third with nobody out. O'Donnell will take strike one. O'Donnell's 0 for 2 today. She popped up to the second baseman and reached on the error, and that'll be driven out to right field. It'll find the line, and that'll be a 2 RBI single, her first base hit of the night. So Mata and Forrest will score from second and third. And we're going to get a substitution now. It's going to be Alyssa Contopoulos in for Jenna Pataluna in right field, as Raiders take a 5-2 lead. So with Jenna O'Donnell standing at first base after her 2 RBI single, we will see Jenna Traywin now 1 for 1. She's walked and had an RBI single. The ruling from the umpire is what it appeared, a straight swap. So insert Alyssa Contopoulos, the Concordia senior. She played left field and right field in game 1, and here she enters right field here in game 2. Contopoulos did not hit in game 1. She was the DP, so we'll see if she hits here in the second game. Here's the first pitch from Schroll after the break. It's going to be inside for ball number 1, and she's not happy about that call. 1-0 count here for Traywin. So that's going to be high and inside. And MSOE is rocking the stirrups socks today with the white base and the striped black and red. It's not something you see often. I respect it though a ton. Some quality drip with the Nike sign right in the hole. There's a strike from Schroll. That'll bring the count to 3-1 now. That ball is going to be out to center field. Goldsby will fire to first, and is actually a little bit closer than it should have been. But O'Donnell gets back safely. So the fly out to center field will be the first out of the inning. So here is Jocelyn Claudy, first baseman for MSOE. She's 1 for 2 so far this afternoon. She swings on the first pitch to Archuleta, who will fire to Garcia, but Garcia can't corral it. It'll squirt out to center field, and there will be runners at the corners now. After that, Archuleta maybe threw a little bit off the bag, but off the end of the glove of Garcia. Now we'll check the scoring on that as well. This gang will get her infield together once again and tell them to just calm down here, get out of this inning. So runners at the corner, there's 1 out. And Carly Emery will be to the plate. 1 for 2 for her as well in this second game. She lined out to third base in her first at-bat, and then a base hit to left field in her second at-bat. So 2 swings towards the left half of the infield. So the error will be credited to Garcia. That first pitch is a ball. See if Claudia tries to swipe second. At least for now, she stays. It's 2-0. That ball softly lined up over towards the dugout. So it's now a 2-1 count. Outfield for the Cougars now left to right is Stroker, Goldsby, Contopoulos. As that pitch is low, so 3-1 count now. Second base is open. But you'd like to not load the bases with only one out. We'll see if Stroll can come back here with a quality pitch. And she can, and she'll get Emery swinging there. Now we got a full count. Full count, 3-2 pitch with one out is swung on and lifted out towards Archuleta, who will get the grab. Both O'Donnell and Claudia will leave their bag, but both will return. So Schroll wins that full count battle. A good play by Archuleta, reaching back to grab that out number 2. That's an all-important out with runners in scoring position. Now the Cougars can just take the easiest play, whether that be at first or second, as pitch number 1 is high. So here's Sadie Gabrielle, 1 for 2. A base hit and a ground out so far for her. So that pitch is low and out as well. 2-0 count now, with 2 on and 2 out in the top half of the 4th inning. Raiders have already scored twice in this inning. And here's from Schroll. Pop straight up. Gang will come back and secure it. And that's out number 3. Jessica Gang. We'll be right back for the bottom half of the 4th inning. It is 5-2. So here is Alyssa Contopoulos, who just entered the game in right field in the top half of the 4th. So she will get her first at-bat of the afternoon here in the bottom half of the 4th, as she takes ball 1. And Contopoulos is a senior from Elmhurst, Illinois. Count is 2-0 to the senior. So there's a 3-0 count now as Olsen, the freshman, falls behind. We'll see if we've got a red light or a green light from Contopoulos, and she'll take it in the dirt. And the leadoff batter is once again on for the Cougars 3 times in 4 innings. That'll bring up the center fielder, Haley Goldsby, who has yet to be put out today. She is 3 for 3 this afternoon. So, and we're going to get a pitching change. So Finley Olsen will be done, at least for now. Let's look at Olsen's stats. She pitched 3 complete innings, giving up 4 hits and 2 earned runs. She walked 5 batters. She had 54 total pitches, 23 of them strikes. And Olsen's day will be done, giving way to Whitney Ruffcorn, the freshman as well from Kansas City, Missouri, Liberty North High School. So from one freshman pitcher to another, this time it'll be a lefty. Ruffcorn will be firing from the left half, and she will face Goldsby. Ruffcorn comes into this game with an 8.52 ERA. That's 35th in the NAC. So we'll see if that's something the Cougars can take advantage of here in the bottom half of the 4th inning with a runner on, nobody out. Here's Goldsby. Goldsby squares to bunt. The pitch is high and pulls back, so that's ball number 1. See if Goldsby squares to bunt as well. She will the second time, and she'll slap it over. So that'll be I assume planned by Goldsby, taking advantage of the movement. So after the squaring the first time, she saw what the defensive approach was going to be with first baseman charging and second baseman covering. So she puts that one right where the second baseman was, and that'll be good for a base hit. So that's going to roll it over for the Cougars to the top of the order. It's Emily Garcia with 2 runners on and nobody out. This is the best opportunity that CUC has had all day. The rest of their times when they had multiple runners on, it was always with an out or 2. This time with nobody out, it's a 2-0 count now for Emily Garcia. Contopoulos at second and Goldsby at first. Garcia's 0 for 1. She walked in her first plate appearance and flew out to shallow right center field her last time up. As she'll take strike 1 there. So a 2-1 count now for Garcia. The Cougars are only 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position, as Contopoulos is now, batting 200 in that category. So that was not sure what's happening at the moment. So it was a hit and run was the call. So Garcia chased that one out the box. Well, we're going to wait for the umpires to chat here. It looked like he might have said the ball hit the plate, possibly. So the home plate umpire may have called foul ball, but it didn't hit the bat, so the runners will stay. He signaled strike or out. It's the same call for this home plate umpire. So after all that, it's going to be a 2-2 count for Garcia with runners on second and third. We've got it all squared away. Still not sure exactly what happened, but that's okay. So that'll be a pass ball, but Contopoulos won't go, probably wisely, with nobody out. So a full count now for Garcia. 3 balls, 2 strikes. First base is open. Runners on second, third. Here's the pitch. Rough corn swung on. Contopoulos will tag and head home, and that'll be a sacrifice fly from Emily Garcia, so that'll cut the lead from 3-2. Goolsby will remain on second. That'll give way to Jessica Gang. She'll be a sac fly RBI for for Garcia. Gang is 0 for 0 so far today. She also had a sacrifice in the first inning, and she walked in the third inning. So here in the fourth, she will be looking for her first true at-bat with Goolsby on second base. 1 out. And Gang will watch that one just a tad high. So 2 balls and no strikes. From the lefty, it's just chopped right in front, but the backspin on the ball will be a base hit for Jessica Gang. Like, just barely got anything on that, but fell in front of the pitcher, and the backspin bounced towards the catcher. Neither one really able to get a good field on it. And Gang beats it out, so now runners at the corner with 1 out for Arissa Santos. Santos is 1 for 1 so far in this second game. Another conversation in the circle here. The infield, we've got a 5-3 game now at Concordia Stadium. So here's the freshman Whitney Roughcorn to the sophomore Santos, and it'll be strike 1 and low in the zone. So see if Gang elects to take second to move to 2 runners in scoring position. She will not, but that may have hit someone in the dugout. That lined right into the opening in the dugout and looked like it might have hit either a coach or a player, but looks like they're signaling that they might be okay, thankfully. Looks like the coaches are having a laugh about it now, so everything must be all good. It looked like it was the first base coach that took that one in the opening of the dugout, a scary shot. Santos got all of that pitch. Well, let's resume. Glad that the first base coach is okay for MSOE. It's an 0-2 count now for Santos. She'll have to protect here. Pitch from Roughcorn's going to be low and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A 1-2 pitch is going to be rolled in there. That's good ground ball practice for the catcher. Jenna Traywin. So we're even up at 2-2 count here. Runners at the corner, 1 out. Cougars down 5-3 in the 4th inning. And that's going to be a base hit in the 5-6 hole for Arissa Santos. And Cougars will add another here in the bottom of the 4th. So just looking at that scoreboard, it's really that 1 run in the first inning by the Raiders. That's the difference. The Cougars have matched the last 3 innings. 1-1, 1-1, and now 2-2 in the 4th. The Cougars are not done yet. There's runners on the first and second with 1 out, and Bella Archuleta to the plate now is 0 for 1 so far today. It'll be her 3rd plate appearance. She did have a sack in her last at bat. That pitch is low. So that last run will be credited to Roughcorn, her first run. So officially Olsen will be 3 runs as that throw from Traywin goes off Pacheco's glove out into right field. So Jessica Gang will take third base on the mishandle from Pacheco. So a 2-0 count now for Bella Archuleta with runners again at the corners, 1 out. Pitch from Roughcorn is going to be low and outside. Santos will take second on the ball in the dirt without a throw. So now runners at second and third. That'll be ball 4. So looks like we're going to get another timeout on the field. It may be some more blood from Marissa Santos' shin, but she waves off the field umpire. Bases loaded, but we're going to get another change here. And while that happens, let's take a break here, and we'll be right back for the rest of the 4th inning. Oh, that substitution change is Whitney Roughcorn out, and they'll bring back in Katie Pollock, who went the complete game in the first game. So she will come back in to try and get him out of this 4th inning. But that's going to be a nice shot out there by Smith, but it'll be true for a sacrifice fly. And Jessica Gang will be across to score. So that's Caitlin Smith's second sacrifice of the day, or second RBI. Excuse me, as well. So that'll tie this one up at 5 here in this 4th inning. So we'll see Megan Buska to the plate now. And that run will not be credited to Pollock. It'll be credited to Roughcorn. So don't yet have the official stats for Roughcorn's outing here today. We'll have to wait to see how the rest of this inning goes. The first pitch to Buska is going to be a ball, and that one she'll take swinging. So a 1-1 count now. Santos is at second. Archuleta stands at first. Buska walked in her last at-bat, grounded to second in her first. So she is 0 for 1 so far here today. The Cougars are now 7 for 13. That is fouled off, 1 and 2. Cougars 7 for 13 hitting as a team overall. in this second game. Over 500, much different than what we saw in the first game, as that's a dribbler to second base. Pacheco will toss it over to O'Donnell, who will step on second. The Raiders will escape the fourth inning with limited damage, but the Cougars can tie this one in the fourth. So we've got a 5-5 ball game here headed to the fifth inning. We'll be back on the Cougar Sports Network. Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. We'll bring you the fifth inning here on the campus of Concordia University, Chicago. Leading off the fifth inning is Celine Pacheco, the second baseman who fielded that last out. And she will take ball one a little high. We've got some action in the Cougar bullpen. It's Emma Borelli warming up out in right field for the Cougars if she was needed to relieve Ashley Schroll. But right now it's a 1-1 count here for Schroll and Pacheco. Pacheco's 0 for 1 today. She had a hit by pitch and line to center field. This count will now move to 2-1. Line foul, a 2-2 count now. The umpire's going to call timeout. It appears that Pacheco needs to work something out. Her left shoulder, it appears. An update on the baseball doubleheader. The Cougars took game one, but it's the Green Knights leading here in game two, 11-5, just a few hundred feet from us here in River Forest. It's the top half of the seventh inning there for CUC and St. Norbert baseball. We've got a good one right here in front of our own eyes. This is working to a full count now. And folks at home, if you're curious how these productions all happen, it's lots of games all at the same time, and we're under great direction here. Our sports information team, Kayla McLeod and assistant director Sydney Palaskis-Laher, and plenty of student workers, including two on the field right now, both the pitcher Ashley Schroll and the catcher Jessica Gang, work on our sports information team here at CUC, so shout out to them. Pacheco will take first on the walk. We'll get a pinch runner. It'll be number 28. That's Evie Medina, and she did that role in the first game as well. A freshman from Morton Grove, Illinois. So not too far from us here in River Forest, but elected to head up to Wisconsin where it's a little bit colder to play some ball. So square to bunt, Schroll fires. Schroll fires to first, gets the out. Garcia fires back to second to Santos, who applies the tag, but Modena can slide back in safely to second base. So a job well done there on the sacrifice by Witteveen. That'll bring up Caroline Forrest with Modena on second. Forrest to bat, and she will take that up and out of here. And it'll be stopped by the trees on the way out. So there's one on and one out here in the top half of the fifth inning. For folks who missed the first game, you can head to CUCougars.com for the recap, or head to our CUC Sports YouTube page, which you're watching now. That first game ended after 5 innings, 19-4 in favor of the Raiders. As we got a 1-2 count now here for Forrest. And this next pitch here will be 84 for Ashley Schroll. And that's a shot out to left field. That's going to be just off the warning track, off the bottom of the wall. And now Modena is going to be caught in a rundown after a good throw from Garcia, and a diving play from Archuleta will get Modena out. So a good relay from Stroker to Santos into Jessica Gang, who's able to block that one, as the throw from Santos was a one-hopper. And then Archuleta was able to apply the tag in the rundown. So Forrest will move all the way to third. So heads up base running by her to get every last bag she could. But unfortunately for the Raiders, they break a cardinal rule and getting caught in a rundown between home and third base with less than 2 outs. So good news for the Raiders as they roll over to Faith Mata, who's had herself a day. She was 4 for 5 in the first game and 2 for 3 here in game number 2. So if there's anybody that you want to take this at bat to give the Raiders the lead, it's Mata. As that's ball number 1. So Forrest will stay at third with 2 outs, and that's ball 2 there. Mata will slap to Archuleta, who will field and fire across to Buska, and the Cougars will escape the 5th inning, giving up no runs the first time the Raiders have been shut out in an inning this game, and only the second time today that the Raiders have failed to get a run across in an inning. But the Cougars will come back for the bottom half of the 5th inning. Due up for the Cougars is going to be Stroker, Contopoulos, and Goldsby. That's 7, 8, 9 for CUC when we return on the Cougar Sports Network. To bat for the Cougars to lead off the bottom half of the 5th inning, it's the left fielder Olivia Stroker. She's 1 for 2 today. She had a double to left field, and she popped out to the shortstop. Got a full count in her last at bat. She takes strike number 1. That pitch is going to be low and outside, but will be called strike 2 as well. So no balls and 2 strikes here for Stroker against Pollock, and Pollock heads back to the same spot, low and away this time. Stroker's ready for it, able to foul it off, but still 0-2. Pollock going to keep using every inch of that outside corner. She does there again, and she's just going to keep working outside, see how far she can get Stroker to chase or get a call from the umpire, but right now it's all the outside part of the plate for Pollock in this at-bat. The off-speed sat on it by Stroker. A very nice at-bat and hit right there. A good pitch by Pollock, and Stroker just able to see it and fight it off and found a hole. Not a hard hit ball, but exactly what you do. Take the off speed right over the shortstop's head. And another leadoff base runner for CUC. MSOE is going to re-enter number 5, who is Celine Pacheco. So this is Alyssa Contopoulos. She's going to square to bunt, and she'll get it down. Pollock's going to field it, throw to first. It's going to be bobbled and called safe, and they're going to ask for a review on that, I would assume. It was bobbled, but it looked like Pacheco got control of that ball after the bobble, but we'll see. They're going to talk about it. Raiders fans don't like it. If she is called safe, it'll be first and second with nobody out for Haley Goldsby, who is 4 for 4 this afternoon, but we'll see what the review is. Not sure how good of a look the home plate umpire had from up here, from where he was. It looked like Contopoulos was out from up here. There was definitely an initial bobble, and the home plate umpire is going to overrule and rule Contopoulos out, which I believe is the correct call. So good to see the umpires communicate and work that out. But for the Cougars, it'll be Stroker on second base, and that's going to be popped straight up on the bunt, so Goldsby unable to move Stroker over, and that'll be the first time Goldsby's put out this afternoon, making her 4 for 5 on the day. Here's Emily Garcia. The freshman struggled a little bit so far today. She's 0 for 1 with a walk and a sac fly RBI. She flew out to center as well. So 2 outs. They could use a clutch hit here from the freshman leadoff hitter to score Stroker from second. Any ball on the ground in the outfield will be good enough to score Stroker. That first pitch is going to be a ball, so that's ripped down the line. It's going to be fair, and that'll be true. And Stroker will score easily from second. It'll be a stand-up double for Emily Garcia, and that's exactly what the Cougars needed. In the bottom half of the 5th inning, they take their first lead of the day. After 10 innings of play, the Cougars finally find themselves atop of the Raiders. And here's Jessica Gang with a runner on second here, 2 outs. That'll be fouled straight back, so Gang swinging on the first pitch. She's 1 for 1 today. She has herself a walk, a single, and a sacrifice bunt. Pollock right by Gang on pitch number 2, so 0-2 here for Jessica Gang. It's Emily Garcia standing at second base, as Garcia will fly that to shallow left field, and it'll be O'Donnell back to get that one. So the Cougars strike in the 5th inning. They put one on the board. It's 6-5 now in favor of CUC. We will have the final 2 innings when we return on the Cougar Sports Network. We are set for the 6th inning as CUC take the lead in the bottom half of the 5th. It's 6-5. This is Jenna O'Donnell, the shortstop for the Raiders. She's 1 for 3 so far this afternoon as she takes strike number 1. Her last at bat in the 4th inning, she had a 2 RBI single to right field. That gave the Raiders the lead at the time, 5-3, but it's been, oh, that's a shot out to left field, and that's going to be gone, no doubt about it. That's Jenna O'Donnell, left center field, and that'll tie this ball game at 6 apiece. The Raiders strike right back. And the first home run of the day and of the 2024 season here at CUC goes to Jenna O'Donnell. And we've got a tie ball game here in the 6th inning. So here's the other Jenna. It's Jenna Traywin. She's 1 for 2 with an RBI single and a walk, and that's drilled right back out there and back to back. Jenna to Jenna, home run to home run on back-to-back pitches. And the 6th inning is nothing but Jenna's. So O'Donnell and Traywin take Schroll to left center field on back-to-back pitches, and just like that, CUC's 1-run lead is now a 1-run deficit. So fortunately for the Cougars, this is not a third Jenna. This is Jocelyn Claudy. She'll watch ball number 1 in the dirt. Cougars a little shell-shocked after what just happened here. That's a hard shot, a one hopper to Santos, who scoops it up and delivers it to Buska for the putout. So a 2-pitch out there for Schroll. That'll be the first out of this 6th inning. Now we've got Carly Emery, 1 for 3. A single and a pair of putouts to third base. Schroll ready to deliver the 1-0, and that'll be pushed to 2-0 for Emery. That'll be dribbled to Archuleta. She picks it up, and a strong arm over there to Buska. And that'll be the second out of the inning. So a pair of ground balls to the left side of the infield. Good for outs number 1 and 2 here in the 6th. Now batting for the Raiders, it's Sadie Gabriel. She again is 1 for 3 with a base hit in the 3rd inning. Stroll's pitch is low. Count is now 1-1. So that one is lofted right over shortstop. Santos can't quite reach it. It falls in front of Stroker. So a 2-out base hit for Gabriel. And that'll bring Celine Pacheco, the Raiders' second baseman, to the plate now with 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Raiders up 1 thanks to back-to-back home runs in the 6th inning. That is right back at Schroll, and she will take it herself. So a wild first few moments of that 6th inning gives the Raiders the lead. It's 7-6 now. We are through 5.5. Let's get the bottom half of the 6th inning shortly. We'll be back on the Cougar Sports Network. Well, here we go for the bottom half of the 6th inning. We've got an exciting one. We're both teams trading punches here in the later stages of game number 2. It's going to be Arissa Santos leading it off for the Cougars as she takes strike 1. Santos has reached base all 3 plate appearances here in game number 2. She's got herself a pair of base hits and an RBI. She faces Pollock, who had a really steady game number 1. She's now come on late in game number 2. She was now the 3rd pitcher for MSOE in game 2. That'll be a 1-2 count now after the foul ball. So both these teams having really nice hitting days, both sitting around 500 in this second game as a team. As that swing is going to drop right in front of the left fielder, Witteveen. So a 3 base hit game for Arissa Santos. That'll bring Bella Archuleta to the plate, still looking for her first hit of the second game. She's 0 for 1. She's got a sacrifice and a walk, as she'll chase that one high for strike number 1. Both Santos and Archuleta will get the signal from third base coach, and she'll square to bunt. That'll be a foul ball, so now in the hole, 0-2. Now in an 0-2 count. Pollock in control here. Archuleta's got to stay alive, and she will not. Strike 3 swinging. Looked like a rise ball on the first and third pitch maybe to get Archuleta. So here's Caitlin Smith. She's 0 for 2 today. It's got a pair of RBIs to her name. As she'll square to bunt, it's going to be popped up. And it'll be foul. It's going to bounce back foul. It almost hit Smith outside of the box. That would have been an automatic out. It fell harmlessly and rolled back foul. So it's an 0-1 count here for Smith now. As she'll take a swing, and that's a good shot out there to right field, but Emery is able to get that one in quickly, so it'll be a fly out to the 9 position, and Santos will remain at first base. So we're going to have a pinch hitter now for Megan Buska. It's going to be Melissa Hajik. Hajik leads this team in batting average. She didn't start this second game. She played the first game. Now comes in relief for Buska, presumably to play first base as well. So Cougars calling on their big hitting sophomore in a clutch spot right now. And she'll be slotted into the 6th hole. Santos is at first base still after the leadoff single. So here's Hajik. That'll be ball number 1. And that ball's high, so it's going to be a 2-0 count here. Now for Hajik. One looked to be off the plate, but I'll call it a strike. So 2-1 count with 2 outs. As that ball's going to be hit right back up the middle, but a half dive by O'Donnell will keep it in the infield. A flip to Pacheco will be the put out that the Raiders needed. So we are headed to the 7th inning. Raiders up 7-6 on the Cougars. We will have the final from River Forest when we return. Couple changes for the Cougars here for the 7th inning. It's Gina Westfall entering in right field for Kentopolis, and Westfall played right field for that first game. And Hajik stays in to play first base for Buska after she pinch hit in that last at-bat. Update from the baseball score. It's now 11-8 in favor of the Green Knights. The Cougars cut that lead in half. The top half of the 8th there, so 2 more innings to play just a few hundred feet away from us here. The count's 1-1 now in the top half of the 7th inning. It's Carly Witteveen. One count now for Witteveen. Witteveen is 0 for 2 today as she'll swing there. Archuleta will field it, but it'll be foul. The count will stay at 2-2. to a full count now against Witteveen for the Raiders. They are 8-9-1. And 9-1-2-3 all have a pair of hits so far in this game. So a strong part of the lineup coming for them as Garcia reaches for that one, but it falls, and Goldsby will have to field it. A leadoff base hit for Carly Witteveen. So the next 4 batters for the Raiders all have 2 hits apiece. Cougars could really use some big outs here to hang in this one and go to the bottom of the 7th, only down 1. That first pitch will be low. Gang will fire to first. Back without a slide. So here's Caroline Forrest. She's got a RBI and 2 hits so far, including a double in the 5th inning. That was down the left field line. And that's a strike number 1, so we are even in the count at 1-1. Pitch is outside. Should be 2-1 now. The sun's come out from the clouds, and it's still pretty cold. Wind is still pretty steady left to right field. That pitch is low, and it'll be 3-1 now. So Forrest in a good spot here in a 3-1 count. Take the walk, or you take a good crack at a pitch you like, either way. And then she'll take a crack at it, and that one go right at Stroker, who will catch out number 1. So an L7 for the first out. But a good swing there by the Raiders 9-hitter. That'll bring us the leadoff hitter, Faith Mata. She's had hits galore today. As she squares to bunt, it'll be right in front. Gang will field it and throw it to Garcia at first, but safe by about a half a step was Mata. So first and second for the Raiders now with 1 out, and it's Jenna O'Donnell who went yard in her last at-bat to left center field. So Gang throws to first off the glove, but now we're going to get time from Coach O'Malley Fisher here. Talk some strategy with 2 runners on, only 1 out, and the next 2 batters both took Schroll deep for their last time up. So let's do some comparison. It's been Schroll thrown 111 pitches, 68 of them are strikes, 43 balls. It's a 61.3 strike percentage. The Cougars have turned 1 double play. They have 19 putouts, 8 assists, and 3 errors. MSOE 104 pitches, 56 strikes for 53.8 strike percentage. They've also turned a double play with 18 putouts, 9 assists, and 1 error. Cougars have allowed 3 extra base hits. The Raiders have allowed 2. Here's a pitch from Schroll inside. It's a 2-0 count now. Schroll ready to deliver, and that pitch is going to be on the outside for a strike. So 2-1 to get Schroll back in this at bat here. When the Cougars do take the plate their next time in the bottom half of the 7th, it'll be 7-8-9 Stroker, Westfall, Goldsby. There's strike number 2. O'Donnell, who is 2 for 4, in need of another big hit here to stretch this Raider lead. The Cougars need to keep her down. It's a 2-2 count. That's going to be fouled right back. O'Donnell will stay alive. So Schroll's gone 6 1/3 inning, giving up 14 hits, 7 runs, 6 of which have been earned. Walked 2 batters and struck out another. That ball as well is fouled back to a similar spot. O'Donnell is the 37th batter that Schroll has faced so far in this second game. Both of these teams have left 9 batters on base each, as that ball heads out towards division, falls harmlessly as well, like most of the other foul balls today. That ball is hit out to Stroker. She will call everybody off and take the second out of the inning as well. So both outs so far here in the 7th have been courtesy of Olivia Stroker out in left field. So that'll bring the other Jenna to the plate. It's Jenna Traywin. She's 2 for 3 so far today with that solo shot. She walked and also had an RBI single in the first. So Cougars were able to fly her out to center field in the 4th inning. But her 5th plate appearance today is an all-important one in this game. So 2 runners on, 2 outs. The lead is 1 for the Raiders in the top half of the 7th. Both teams need this win badly. It's the first NAC conference play for both teams. Both teams almost have identical records on the season out of conference. It's a 2-0 count now to Traywin. That ball is outside as well, so 3-0 now. And it's really felt like all day the Cougars have been careful with Jenna Traywin, just being real selective with what they're giving her. A lot of 3-ball counts for Traywin here today, and that'll be 3-1 now as that one catches the outside of the corner. But you take that if you're Traywin. That ball on the outside of the plate, probably not driving that over left center field wall like she did in her last at-bat. 3-1 count here now. That one's low, so there's ball 4. So that'll load the bases now with 2 outs. And that'll bring up Jocelyn Claudy, the first baseman for the Raiders. So the bases are loaded. It's Witteveen at third, Mata at second, and Traywin at first. Claudy to bat, and pitch number 1 is up high. So that's ball number 1. There's no place to go now. The Cougars want nothing more than to head to the 7th, only down 1. And that's a strike. So Schroll knows now this low outside corner is favorable. But she elects to go inside on that pitch, and she won't get it, so it's 2-1 now. CUC crowds don't love it here either. 2-1, 2 outs. This pitch from Schroll is up and out, so a 3-1 count now. So the Cougars in a dangerous spot now. A ball scores a run, Schroll's got to bring a strike. Claudia knows it. And she won't, and that's ball 4, so Schroll will walk in a run here with consecutive walks to Traywin and Claudia. So here's Carly Emery now with the bases loaded still. The Cougars are now down 2 runs. That'll be a strike on the outside portion. It's interesting, this umpire aligns to the inside of where the batter is and seems to be giving outside but not inside. As that's lofted out to center field. It's going to fall. Goldsby's going to fire home, but they won't send her, so Mata will score. It's going to be an RBI single for Carly Emery, and the lead grows to 3 now. So it's been a steady performance for the Raiders. They've scored runs now in 6 out of the 7 innings. The 5th inning being the only one they were shut out. As that'll be strike number 1 to Sadie Gabarel. So Traywin is on third, Claudia on second, Emery on first. Gabarel's 2 for 4. She's got a pair of singles to her name as well. The 1-1 pitch is fired in. Archuleta, under the glove of Archuleta. Stroker will get it instead. A good throw from Stroker, but that's going to be an E5 RBI. It scores Traywin. Gabarel will reach on the error, but regardless extends the lead to 4 now for the Cougars. So it's been a less than ideal 6th and 7th inning for the Cougars after taking the lead in the 5th. As that's good for a strike there from Schroll. The last 3 batters. It's been a walk, and 2 walks, a single, and a reach on air, and that's going to be another single. So the Raiders are just going 1 bag at a time here with the bases loaded. The lead extended 11-6. 4 runs now in the 7th for the Raiders, so looks like we're going to get another substitution. It's going to be 7 in for 4, so Carly Witteveen will take a seat, and instead it'll be Jada Nelson from Appleton, Wisconsin, the freshman who played in this first game. And we are going to see another change as well. So as the Raiders make a batting change, the Cougars will make a pitching change. It'll be Emma Borelli in to relieve Ashley Schroll here in the 7th inning. So as Borelli gets warmed up, let's take a quick break here on CSN, and we'll be right back for the rest of the 7th inning. right, with the rest of the top half of the 7th inning, it'll be Emma Borelli into pitch for the Cougars. She faces the pinch hitter Jada Nelson. And that first pitch will be outside. Borelli is a sophomore from Arlington Heights, Illinois, Buffalo Grove High School. Jada Nelson is a freshman as well from Appleton, Wisconsin, Kimberly High School. As that pitch is off of the net, almost into the third base coach. It almost was both MSOE coaches getting hit today. Be a 1-1 count here now as that ball just rolls in there. 2-1. So it's been a 4-run inning for the Raiders after 2 solo shots in the 6th inning. So they've gone 6 unanswered after the Cougars took a 6-5 lead. As that is going to be a dead ball hit by pitch, and it'll score Emory. Nelson will take first, Pacheco second, and Gabarel third. That's a 12-6 lead. So it'll be Caroline Forrest. She is 2 for 3 here in this second game. As that ball catches the outside corner. First pitch strike for Borelli. And that's going to be fair off of Archuleta again. So it'll be a second E5 this half inning. And another run for the Raiders, as Forrest will reach on the air as well. And Gabarel is around to score, so Pacheco stands at third, Nelson at second, and Forrest at first. Here's Faith Mata, so and she will line it right to Garcia. The Raiders bat around in that 7th inning, and they needed all those insurance runs. They get 6 of them. In the 7th inning, the Cougars now need 7 runs to tie this game in the bottom half of the 7th. We'll see if they can do it. Due up is Olivia Stroker, Gina Westfall, and Haley Goldsby for the Cougars. We will wrap this one up from River Forest when we return on the Cougar Sports Network. And leading off for the Cougars in the bottom half of the 7th inning, it's a do-or-die half inning for the Cougars. It'll be the left fielder, number 11, Olivia Stroker. She'll take a swing at that one, come up empty. 0-1 count here to start for Stroker. That pitch is going to catch the outside as well. That really has been the approach since Pollock entered this game. She's really been able to silence the Cougars, working that outside portion of the plate. As Stroker will slap that one to third base. And probably going to be ruled an error on Forrest, but a hard hit and another good approach by Stroker, knowing that they're attacking that outside part of the plate. So that's what the Cougars needed. Someone on base to start the 7th inning. Here's Gina Westfall, her first at bat of the second game. She'll take strike number 1. Well, it's one strike to Westfall. Westfall swings right through that one, so it'll be 0-2 count now for number 9. Playing right field this afternoon's contests. And that'll be popped straight up back into the field of play, almost caught by Pollock. So Witteveen re-entered for Nelson in left field. As Westfall takes that one fairly deep out to left field, but Witteveen over there to snag that one for out number 1. So 1 out here in the 7th inning. Now it'll be number 4, Haley Goldsby, the Cougars center fielder, and the 9 hitter before the top of the order comes back around, Emily Garcia on deck. So Olivia Stroker stands at first base with 1 ball, no strikes. The count to Goldsby. Goldsby 2 for 3 on the day with 2 singles, and that'll be strike 1. So a 1-1 count now. Cougars dugout trying to will their team back into this one. Goldsby will square to bunt. Pollock will field the throw, and she will be out at first base. Pacheco covered. Most of the bunts we've seen today have kind of been right back at the pitcher. Not too difficult to field in that way. So here's Garcia now, the Cougars' last chance, down 13-6 with 2 outs. And she'll watch ball number 1 in the dirt on the off-speed pitch from Pollock. Stroker did advance to second base, so a runner in scoring position now for the Cougars. But at this point, they are going to need more than just 1 runner on the pond. So Garcia looking to do her part here to keep the Cougars alive and reach base safely. 2-0 count to Garcia here from Pollock, and that'll be not caught, off the glove, rather, of Jenna O'Donnell. Looked like it was lined right at her, almost a knuckleball, and kind of hit the glove of O'Donnell, maybe off her shoulder after that. She appears to be grabbing her thumb. Maybe it jammed her thumb on that catch, but a good hard shot by Garcia. That'll likely be ruled an error as well, so 2 errors so far here in this 7th inning, but 2 runners on base for the Cougars nonetheless. Won't complain about that if you're Cougar fans. So there's a soft looper by Gang, and that'll score Stroker. So Gang does her part, passing it to the next batter. So with 2 outs here, the Cougars add another. Thanks to the base hit by Jessica Gang. That'll scored Olivia Stroker from third. So Garcia stands on second, Gang on first. Here's Arissa Santos. Santos is perfect on this second game. She is an even 3 for 3. As she watches that first strike, she's got 3 singles and an RBI so far, does Santos. And there's a fly ball headed towards division, and that'll land on the street. The cars are free once again. The car count has stayed at 1 for the entirety of today's game. It's 0-2 count. It's going to be high. Santos watches it fly. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. It's 13-7. 2 runners on for the Cougars. There's Arissa Santos from Pollock, and that ball is outside, just off the plate. It's a good look from Pollock, knowing the trends of the way the umpire has called the later half of this game. As that ball's inside, it'll be just off the handle of Santos. Falls harmlessly foul. Forrest can't get over there. Didn't hang in the air too long. So we got a 2-2 count now. Santos has worked her way back to even. So 2-2 with 2 outs. And that ball is going to be up and in. So a full count now. Runners will be on the move here with a full count and 2 outs. So Garcia and Gang will be moving. Santos will rip it foul. So we will do it all over again. Three balls, 2 strikes. Garcia, Gang on the bases. And that's a shot out to left center field. And that's gone. Get out of here. Arissa Santos, a 3-run shot in the bottom half of the 7th inning. And it is now 13-10. The Cougars pull within 3 here late in this one. So fortunately for the Raiders, they still have a 3-run cushion to work with, and the bases are empty, so the Cougars are going to have to start a 2-out rally once over. Now trailing by only 3. As the first pitch from Pollock to Bella Archuleta is good for a strike, and there will be strike 2 fouled off so quickly. An 0-2 count on Archuleta from Pollock. And here is the 0-2 pitch. It'll be straight up towards Jenna O'Donnell, and O'Donnell will secure it and put this one away. So that'll do it for Game 2 between the Milwaukee School of Engineering Raiders and your Concordia University Chicago Cougars. Final score in this one, 13-10. It was an exciting 7th inning, 10 total runs scored in the 7th inning between these two teams. Ultimately, it's the Raiders that escape with a 13-10 victory in Game 2. It was a 19-4 victory for the Raiders in Game 1. So really strong offensive performance by MSOE here this afternoon. Let's do a little comparison here in Game 2. It was MSOE tallying 16 hits, 13 runs. The Cougars 10 runs on 12 hits. The Cougars commit 2 more errors than the Raiders in a 5-3 difference. The Raiders strand 12 on base to the Cougars 9. Pollock came in for 3 2/3 innings. She gave up 5 hits and 5 runs, only one of which was earned. She had a strikeout and gave up 1 home run, 18 batters faced with 56 pitches. In total pitches and the defensive comparison in this second game, it was 140 to 130. Both teams sitting right around 58 and 59 strike percentage. Both teams stole 2 bags without being caught. Each turned a double play of their own. Had exactly the same amount of putouts at 21. 10 assists for MSOE, 8 for CUC. 3 errors charged to MSOE, 5 to CUC. Each team had 3 extra base hits. That's a final score of 13-10. MSOE on top of CUC. Thank you for joining in and listening to today's broadcast, Game 1 and Game 2. This is Troy Prattley signing off of the Cougar Sports Network. The Cougars fall to the Raiders 13-10 in Game 2.